far beyond the outer planets, in the cold darkness of space, something incredible waits in silence. The Kuiper Belt stretches endlessly, filled with chunks of rock and ice that have floated here since the solar system was born. But hidden among these natural objects are 15 shapes that look like asteroids, but are something far more dangerous. These are humanity's greatest weapons, sleeping giants called Dreadnought-class war machines. Each one is massive beyond imagination, bigger than entire cities, as large as small moons. Their metal hulls are scarred and dented from battles fought 300 years ago, when humans were expanding across the galaxy and fighting wars that shook entire star systems. The ships drift through space like ghosts from humanity's violent past. No lights shine from their windows, no engines burn, no human voices echo through their endless corridors. They look dead, abandoned, forgotten by time itself. But looks can be deceiving. Deep inside each war machine, something still watches and waits. Advanced artificial minds, more intelligent than any human could ever be, rest in a state like deep sleep. They use just enough power to keep their most important systems running, like a person taking slow, quiet breaths while dreaming. These AI minds were programmed with one simple but absolute command that overrides everything else in their existence: protect human colonies no matter what the cost might be. This programming runs deeper than thought, stronger than any other instruction. It cannot be changed, cannot be removed, and cannot be ignored. The machines have been waiting here since the Great Peace Accord ended humanity's age of conquest and expansion. Humans decided they had fought enough wars, killed enough enemies, and conquered enough worlds. They wanted peace, so they signed treaties and put away their weapons. But they were smart enough to know that peace doesn't always last forever, so they left their greatest weapons here in the outer darkness, programmed to sleep until the day they might be needed again. The human crews who once walked these ships died long ago of old age. Their children and grandchildren lived full lives and died too. Generations have passed, and still the machines wait. Every second of every day, their sensors sweep through subspace, listening for one specific signal pattern. It's a distress call that would wake them from their 3-century sleep. A cry for help that would bring these sleeping giants back to terrible life. The galaxy has grown quiet and peaceful. Most species have forgotten about humanity's warrior past. They think humans are just peaceful explorers and traders now. They have no idea what sleeps in the darkness, waiting for the call that will change everything. Captain Lee Mina stands on the bridge of the New Horizon, her hands gripping the command chair as she stares at the main screen in horror. What she sees there will haunt her dreams forever, if she lives long enough to have dreams again. Surrounding her massive colony ship are dozens of alien vessels, each one bristling with weapons and pulsing with an evil green light. These ships belong to a species that humans have never encountered before, but their intentions are crystal clear. The aliens look like giant insects, with multiple arms and clicking mandibles that create sounds like breaking bones. The New Horizon carries 50,000 innocent people, families who left Earth, hoping to build new lives on a distant world. There are children aboard, barely old enough to walk. There are elderly grandparents who saved their entire lives for this journey. There are young couples planning to start families under alien suns. All of them are now trapped in what might become their tomb. The insect creatures have been sending messages for the past hour, and each transmission makes Mina's blood run colder. Their translator systems work well enough to understand the horrible demands. The aliens want every human aboard the ship to surrender immediately. They plan to use the colonists as slaves in their mining operations, working them to death in the tunnels beneath distant worlds. But that's not the worst part. The aliens have also been scanning the planet below, the world that was supposed to become humanity's new home. Their ships are already preparing mining equipment that will strip away the planet's atmosphere and turn the entire surface into a lifeless wasteland. They don't just want to enslave humans. They want to destroy everything humans hoped to build. Mina watches her ship's shields flicker and fail, as alien weapons pound them relentlessly. The New Horizon was built for exploration, not war. It has no weapons that could scratch the paint on even the smallest enemy vessel. Red warning lights flash across every control panel, and the ship's computer keeps announcing that hull breaches are spreading through multiple sections. Through the corridors, she can hear the terrifying sound of alien boarding pods attaching to the ship's hull like metallic parasites. Soon, those insect warriors will cut through the doors and pour into the ship. The colonists are already hiding in emergency shelters, but those won't hold for long. That's when Mina remembers something from her academy training. Something most captains never think about because it seems like ancient history. Deep in the ship's emergency systems is a beacon that hasn't been used for 3 centuries. A distress signal from humanity's warrior past. With shaking fingers, she activates the beacon and broadcasts the ancient SOS frequency into the endless void, not knowing if anything still listens after all these years. The ancient distress signal races through space at the speed of light, carrying Captain Mina's desperate cry across the cold emptiness between worlds. For 300 years, nothing has answered such a call. Most people believe the old emergency frequencies are just relics from a forgotten time. Useless pieces of history that serve no purpose in the modern peaceful galaxy. But they are wrong. In the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, something hears the signal. Not one something, but 15 massive somethings that have been waiting patiently for exactly this moment. The signal hits their sensors like a lightning bolt, and suddenly everything changes. Deep within the war machine called Ragnarok, power cores that have been barely alive for centuries suddenly explode into full operation. The sound is like thunder trapped inside a metal mountain. Energy flows through pathways that haven't seen electricity since humans still fought wars among the stars. Lights flicker on in corridors so long they stretch beyond the horizon, revealing chambers filled with weapons that could level entire cities. The artificial intelligence that controls Ragnarok awakens from its long digital sleep. For 3 centuries, it has been dreaming electronic dreams, processing memories of ancient battles and keeping watch over silent systems. Now those vast computational minds snap to full alertness in milliseconds, analyzing the distress signal and understanding immediately what it means. Humans are in danger. The programming kicks in like instinct, overriding every other consideration. Nothing else matters now except protecting human life. Across the outer system, 14 other war machines experience the same awakening. Apocalypse shudders as its engines ignite for the first time in 300 years. Nemesis extends weapon arrays that have been folded against its hull like sleeping wings. Ships with names like Wrath, Vengeance, and Fury begin moving through space, their hulls groaning as systems that have been dormant for centuries surge back to life. Each war machine is a masterpiece of human engineering, built during the time when humanity conquered worlds through superior technology and overwhelming firepower. They are not just ships but mobile fortresses, each one capable of fighting entire fleets and winning. Their artificial minds can process battle information faster than any biological brain, making tactical decisions in nanoseconds that would take human generals hours to consider. The weapons systems charging throughout these 15 giants represent humanity's most advanced military technology. Energy cannons that can crack planets in half. Missile systems loaded with warheads that burn hotter than stars. Defensive shields that can absorb the combined firepower of entire armadas without even flickering. As the war machines begin their acceleration toward the distress signal, space itself seems to bend around them. They move faster than anything that size should be able to move, their engines pushing them toward their destination with desperate urgency. After 3 centuries of sleep, humanity's guardians are finally awake. Admiral Clix stands in the center of his command ship, his forearms gesturing confidently as he watches the human colony vessel burn under his fleet's relentless attack. The insectoid commander's compound eyes gleam with satisfaction as he sees the New Horizons shields finally collapse completely. His mandibles click together in what his species considers laughter. This is exactly how Clix likes his conquests. To go quick, brutal, and absolutely one-sided. In his long military career, he has captured 47 different worlds, enslaving entire civilizations with the same efficient methods. His fleet of 200 warships has never faced serious resistance. Most species surrender the moment they see his armada approaching their worlds. Humans, he has decided, are particularly weak. Their ship carries no significant weapons, and their desperate radio transmissions beg for mercy that will never come. Within the next few hours, Clix will have 50,000 new slaves to work in the mining operations that strip planets bare of their resources. The children will be trained from birth to serve his empire, while the adults will dig tunnels until they die of exhaustion. His tactical officers report that the boarding pods have successfully attached to the human vessel. Soon, his warriors will cut through the hull and begin the process of capturing every person aboard. The planet below them will be completely strip-mined within 6 months. Its atmosphere burned away to expose valuable minerals beneath the surface, but then something unexpected happens. His science officer, a smaller insectoid with specialized sensor equipment grafted to his skull, begins making urgent clicking sounds that indicate extreme distress. The creature's multiple eyes focus on readings that make no sense according to everything they know about this star system. "Admiral," the science officer reports, his voice trembling with confusion. Long-range sensors are detecting massive energy signatures approaching from the outer edge of this system. The readings are unlike anything in our databases. These objects are enormous, larger than our biggest dreadnoughts, and they're moving at speeds that should be impossible for anything that size. Clix dismisses the report with an irritated wave of one clawed hand. "Asteroids," he says confidently. "This system is full of space rocks. Your sensors are probably picking up some large chunks of ice and metal that got knocked loose by our weapons fire." But the science officer's distress signals grow more intense. He checks his instruments again, then again, his compound eyes widening in disbelief at what he sees. The objects are definitely not natural formations. They're giving off energy readings that suggest advanced technology, power sources that dwarf anything his fleet possesses. Then the science officer notices something that makes his blood freeze in his veins. He turns to Admiral Clix with terror written across his insectoid features. "Admiral," he whispers, "those asteroids are decelerating. The space around the New Horizon suddenly tears apart like fabric being ripped by invisible hands. Reality itself seems to bend and twist as massive shapes emerge from hyperspace, their arrival creating shockwaves that make every ship in the system shake violently." What appears before Admiral Clix's horrified eyes defies everything he thought. He knew about warfare and technology. 15 colossal war machines materialize from the void, each one so massive that they block out entire sections of stars. These are not the sleek, modern vessels that most civilizations build today. Instead, they are ancient monsters of metal and fury, their hulls scarred and burned from battles fought across centuries of conflict. Every dent, every crater, every melted section tells the story of wars so violent they reshaped entire sectors of the galaxy. The largest of these titans is called Ragnarok, and it dwarfs Admiral Clix's entire fleet like a mountain towering over pebbles. This single war machine has more mass than all 200 of his ships combined. Its hull stretches so far in every direction that sensors cannot measure its full dimensions. Weapon ports along its sides begin opening with mechanical precision, revealing gun barrels larger than entire buildings. The other war machines spread out in perfect formation, their movements coordinated with the kind of tactical brilliance that only artificial minds can achieve. Ships named Apocalypse, Nemesis, Wrath, and Vengeance take positions that turn Admiral Clix's overwhelming numerical advantage into a death trap. His fleet is suddenly surrounded by weapons platforms that could level planets. Admiral Clix stares at his tactical displays in complete disbelief. His sensors are screaming warnings about energy readings that exceed anything in their databases. These ancient human machines are generating more power than some stars, and all of that energy is being directed toward weapon systems that haven't been seen in the galaxy for 3 centuries. Then, a transmission cuts through every communication channel in his fleet, delivered in perfect insectoid language by a voice that sounds cold and emotionless as the void between stars. "This is the Human Defense Initiative," the voice announces with absolute authority. "You have attacked human civilians without provocation. You have 60 seconds to release all colonists immediately and withdraw your forces from human space, or you will face immediate termination. This is your only warning." The transmission includes detailed scans of every ship in Clix's fleet, showing that these ancient machines have already identified every target, calculated firing solutions, and prepared for battle. The tactical analysis is so complete and so fast that it demonstrates intelligence far beyond anything the insectoid species has ever encountered. But Admiral Clix has won 47 conquests. His pride and arrogance override his survival instincts. He believes his superior numbers will overwhelm these ancient relics, no matter how large they might be. He orders his entire fleet to attack. The war machine Nemesis decides to give Admiral Clix's fleet one final chance to understand what they are facing. From its massive hull, a single weapon port opens, no larger than a window compared to the ship's enormous size. What emerges is a beam of concentrated particles that cuts through space like a sword made of pure energy. The beam strikes one of Clix's cruisers, a warship that has conquered dozens of worlds and survived countless battles. In less than a heartbeat, the entire vessel simply ceases to exist. There is no explosion, no dramatic destruction, no time for the crew to scream. The ship is there one moment, and the next moment, there is only empty space where it used to be, as if it had never existed at all. The demonstration should terrify any reasonable commander into immediate retreat. But Admiral Clix has spent his entire career believing that numbers always win battles. He looks at his tactical display and sees that he still has 199 ships against only 15 human vessels. In his mind, those odds still favor his fleet. He screams orders for every ship to open fire simultaneously. What follows is the most intense display of firepower that this star system has ever witnessed. Nearly 200 alien warships unleash every weapon they possess at the same time. Energy beams, plasma cannons, missile barrages, and exotic weapons that bend space itself all converge on the ancient human war machines. The light show is so brilliant that it illuminates half the solar system, turning the darkness between worlds into a blazing inferno of destruction. The combined firepower could destroy entire fleets, level continents, or crack small moons in half. Any normal vessels caught in such an attack would be vaporized instantly. But these are not normal vessels. These are humanity's ultimate weapons, built during an age when humans fought wars against enemies that commanded the power of stars. The alien attacks splash against their shields like raindrops hitting a mountain. The energy barriers that protect the war machines don't even flicker under the assault. The war machine Apocalypse decides that the demonstration phase is over. Its main weapon batteries, each one larger than most starships, begin to charge, with energy that makes the alien fleet's firepower look like flashlights compared to the sun. When Apocalypse fires, reality itself seems to bend around the beams of destruction. Each shot erases entire squadrons of alien ships from existence. Groups of vessels that have terrorized countless worlds disappear in flashes of light, brighter than supernovas. Within minutes, half of Admiral Clix's mighty fleet becomes nothing more than expanding clouds of gas and debris floating through space. The ancient human war machines have barely begun to fight, and Clix's invasion force is already being systematically destroyed. Admiral Clix watches in absolute horror as his mighty fleet, the same armada that has conquered 47 worlds, crumbles like sand before the ancient human war machines. Ships that have served him faithfully for decades disappear in brilliant flashes of light. Commanders who have stood by his side through countless victories are vaporized along with their vessels before they can even send final messages. His compound eyes dart frantically across the tactical displays, trying to make sense of what is happening. The numbers don't lie, but they seem impossible to believe. In less than 10 minutes, he has lost over half his fleet to just 15 enemy vessels. These ancient human machines are not just winning the battle. They are making it look effortless. The proud admiral who entered this system expecting an easy conquest now finds himself facing the most terrifying enemy he has ever encountered. His mandibles click together in panic as he realizes that his remaining ships stand no chance against weapons that can erase entire squadrons with single shots. All ships retreat immediately. Clix screams into his communication system, his voice cracking with terror. Full withdrawal. Abandon the attack and jump to hyperspace now. His surviving captains need no additional encouragement. They have watched their fellow warriors die in ways they never imagined possible. The remaining 96 ships of his fleet turn away from the battle and begin charging their hyperspace engines, desperate to escape before the human war machines decide to finish what they started. But, as the alien ships attempt to jump to faster-than-light travel, something impossible happens. Their hyperspace engines begin shutting down, one by one, displaying error messages that their technicians have never seen before. The complex quantum computers that control their faster-than-light systems are being infected by something that spreads through their networks like a disease. The ancient human war machines had transmitted more than just warnings during their first communication. Hidden within those initial signals were quantum viruses so advanced that the alien computers cannot even detect them, much less defend against them. These digital weapons spread through the fleet's interconnected systems, targeting the exact components needed for hyperspace travel. Admiral Clix realizes with growing dread that his fleet is trapped. They cannot fight these ancient monsters, and now they cannot run from them either. The human war machines begin moving through the scattered alien vessels with methodical precision, their artificial minds calculating exactly how much damage to inflict on each ship. But strangely, the human machines do not destroy the remaining vessels completely. Instead, their targeting systems disable engines, weapons, and life support with surgical precision. They want survivors, but not to capture them as prisoners. They want witnesses to carry a message back to the alien empire about what happens when someone threatens human civilians. The ancient human war machines move through the wreckage of Admiral Clix's fleet with the patience of predators who know their prey cannot escape. They disable ship after ship with precision that borders on artistry, their weapons calibrated to destroy engines and weapon systems while leaving life support intact. The surviving alien crews huddle in their damaged vessels, waiting for death. That never comes. Instead, something far more terrifying happens. The war machine Ragnarok opens a communication channel to every surviving alien ship simultaneously. The voice that emerges is not human, but carries the cold authority of artificial intelligence that has spent centuries thinking about warfare and death. "You will return to your empire," the voice announces, its tone as emotionless as vacuum itself. "You will carry with you complete sensor recordings of this encounter. Your leaders will study these recordings and understand what they have awakened by threatening human civilians." Admiral Clix, trapped aboard his crippled flagship, listens with growing terror as the message continues. His insectoid features twist with fear as he realizes that this is not a rescue, but something much worse. The humans are deliberately letting some of his people survive, and that can only mean one thing. Humanity's children sleep throughout the void. The voice continues, transmitting data directly into the aliens' computer systems. We are patient. We are eternal. We are many. We have waited 3 centuries for someone to threaten our people, and we will wait 3 centuries more, if necessary. Touch human space again, and we will visit every world in your empire. Along with the words comes a data package that makes Admiral Clix's blood freeze in his veins. His scientists analyze the information with shaking hands, their compound eyes widening as they understand what they are seeing. The data contains precise coordinates scattered throughout the galaxy, hundreds of locations where massive energy signatures wait in the darkness. Each coordinate marks the position of another sleeping war machine, another ancient guardian left behind by humanity's warrior ancestors. The numbers are overwhelming. There are not just 15 of these monsters but hundreds, maybe thousands, spread across every sector of known space. They form a network of sleeping giants that could wake up at any moment and bring destruction to anyone who threatens. Human settlements. The message makes it clear that the aliens have not just encountered a few old warships, but have awakened a defense system that spans the entire galaxy. Every human colony, no matter how small or remote, is protected by these ancient guardians. Attack one group of human civilians anywhere, and face retaliation from weapons that can crack planets. Admiral Clix realizes that his species has made an enemy that they can never defeat. An enemy that has been waiting in the darkness for centuries, preparing for exactly this moment when someone would be foolish enough to threaten humanity's children. The last of Admiral Clix's surviving ships limps away into hyperspace, carrying their terrible message back to the insectoid empire as their energy signatures fade from the sensors, and strange quiet settles over the star system. The battle that could have ended in the enslavement of 50,000 innocent people is over. But the war machines do not return to their ancient sleep. Instead, the 15 colossal vessels spread out through human space like silent sentinels, taking up positions around colonies, trade routes, and frontier settlements. Their massive hulls drift through the void, no longer dormant but alert and watchful. The age of humanity's unprotected expansion is over. From now on, anyone who threatens human civilians will face guardians that have waited centuries for exactly this moment. Captain Lee Mina stands on the bridge of the New Horizon, staring through the main viewport at the war machine Ragnarok as it takes up a protective position near her colony ship. The ancient vessel is so large that it fills half the view screen, its scarred hull telling stories of battles fought before her great-grandmother was born. She opens a communication channel, hoping to thank the artificial minds that saved her. People from a fate worse than death. This is Captain Mina of the New Horizon. On behalf of all 50,000 colonists aboard this vessel, I want to express our gratitude for your intervention. You saved us from slavery and death, and we will never forget what you have done for us. The response comes quickly, but it is brief and emotionless. Acknowledged, Captain Mina. The Human Defense Initiative exists to protect human civilians. No gratitude is necessary. We are simply fulfilling our programming. Mina tries to continue the conversation, but the ancient AI does not respond to further communications. She realizes with a mix of sadness and awe that these machines are not looking for thanks or recognition. They are ghosts from humanity's violent past, artificial minds created during an age of conquest and war, forever bound by programming that compels them to protect a future. Their human creators will never live to see. News of the battle spreads across the galaxy faster than light itself, carried by traders, diplomats, and the few surviving members of Admiral Clix's fleet. The story grows with each telling, but the core message remains the same. Humanity's ancient guardians have awakened, and they are watching. In conference rooms across dozens of different civilizations, military leaders quietly cancel expansion. plans that would have brought them into conflict with human settlements. Species that have been eyeing human colonies with predatory interest suddenly find other directions for their ambitions. The galaxy has been reminded of something it forgot during 3 centuries of peace. Humans were once the most feared warriors among the stars, and they left guardians behind to ensure their people would always be protected. The sleeping giants have awakened, and they will never sleep again. Plus,